Hello, and welcome to another Lawn Fawn video. Today we are so excited to be introducing our brand new stamp set, Happy Couples, and its coordinating dies. We're also going to be introducing our Best Wishes line border, so let's go ahead and check them out. First up, we're going to check out Happy Couples, and it is filled with the cutest little duos ever. We have bunnies and cats. We also have cute little mice, and we have adorable little dogs too. And these little birds just have my heart. Then we have all of these cute little accessories that are perfect for wedding cards. We have this little bouquet, and we have a veil and a top hat that you can add or not. We also have a little tie, and then we have a little hair bow, or it could be a bow tie too. We also have this beautiful floral arch that is one of my favorite images. It's so gorgeous. We have a trio of hearts and a little individual flower and an individual heart too. We also have some super cute little tiny sentiments. We have I love you, I love Mew, and I rough you. So super cute little puns to go along with the dogs and cats. And then we also have I do and we do, which is perfect for wedding cards. We have the phrase congrats. And then we also have the phrase to the happy couple, which I think is so sweet. Now it's time to add some color to these adorable images. I'm going to be using my Copic markers, but I think these would be really cute watercolored or with colored pencils too. And you can see here I add a little pink to the ears of the bunny and pink to the nose. And then I'm doing a light brown bunny and then kind of like either a dirty white rabbit or a little kind of light gray rabbit for the other one. And they are just so cute together. And I have to say, these cute little couples are so much fun to color in. Now, one of the things that I love about this Happy Couple set is it's adorable for wedding cards, and we're going to be showing you that in this video. But it's also really great for non-wedding cards too, and we'll be showing you that in this video too. These little guys are really great for sending hugs cards, or even just a cute birthday card with birthday hats with the two of them for someone who maybe loves cats or dogs. They're just really fun, adorable images, and I love that they're separate from the wedding images so that you are able to create wedding and non-wedding cards with this. That floral arch too works great as a wedding arch, but it's also just beautiful for spring cards. So I love that there's so many different things that you can do with the images in this set. I love when a stamp set can go for all sorts of different occasions, and we'll be showing you all those ideas in this video today. Now for these cats, instead of coloring them in just solid, I decided to do some little spots on the one on the left, and then I'm doing little stripes for the one on the right. And I was inspired by Elena from the design team to color in the cats this way. The other thing I really love doing with cats and dogs is either looking at pictures of my pets or my friends' pets, or even just Googling cats on Google Images to find cute little images to color. That way you could follow a cat's actual spots or actual stripes, and it'll give you really fun ideas like that. Now we're going to color in these adorable little mice. I love that they're holding hands, and I'm using some E40 markers, which I think looks so cute for the mice. And in this case, I decided to just use the same shade of brown for both of the mice. So I love that it looks cute if you use different shades of browns or grays, but it also looks really cute if you use the same shade too. And I'm keeping it lighter towards their face and then darker towards the outside, and I think it looks so cute. We'll give them a little pink belly and then some little rosy cheeks as well. The dog on the left reminds me of my sweet Daphne, so I'm going to color her in with some kind of darker grays here, and she is just looking so cute. We'll add some dark lines there and then blend it out into the lighter gray, and I love the warm grays for critters. They just look so realistic. And then for this little pup here, I decided to pick these kind of bright browns. I think that's going to look really pretty. You can see where I've added the shadow there around the neck and around the outside edges, and then I'm just going to keep blending it out with medium into light. That E21 marker is kind of light, so I just keep going back and forth over it over and over again, and that helps them blend together, and you can see just how cute he looks. Now for these little birds, I'm going to do a little yellow bird and then a blue bird next to it, which I think is such a cute look. I like something about the yellow and the blue together to me is so pretty. And so I'll just have the darkest colors to the outside and then the lightest towards the middle, and they look so cute. I just love that they're kind of like snuggling together. It's just adorable. Now this little bouquet is so sweet, and what I'm going to do is as I use one of the colors like the purple, I'm then going to bring that same purple down to the floral arch. I added the pink and I brought the pink down to the floral arch because I want all of the colors to really kind of coordinate between the flowers in the arch and also in the bouquet. Then here you can see I'm adding these little blue flowers, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the green for the leaves. So when I use the green for the leaves in the arch, I'm going to use the same green in the bouquet. And by using those colors together, it's going to have everything coordinate really nicely. Like these critters got a really great florist who gave them a bouquet and a floral wedding arch. So we're going to go ahead and add some green up into the leaves of the bouquet. I'll add some yellow there to kind of give it like a light wooden appearance for the floral arch. For the veil, I like to add a really light blue just around the bottom edge, and then I blended it out with the colorless blender. And then for the top hat, I like to leave it lightest in the center because I feel like it really gives it that nice kind of round look. And then I'm going to be using some of the same colors from the arch for the accessories. So for the bow tie and the hat and the tie, I'm going to use a nice bright red for the hearts. And here you can see how cute those images are. Now here are the coordinating dies, which we can bend apart at the tabs or use our wire snips to separate. We'll line them up with our stamped images, run them through the die cut machine, and we'll have beautifully cut out images every time. And oh my goodness, these critters are just too cute. And here is how you can mix and match these cute little accessories. The top hat on the dog, I mean, it's so cute. You can use that bow as a hair bow. The tie is so cute, and that hair bow can become a bow tie. I love that you can mix and match all of these elements so that you can customize your wedding cards for anybody that you're creating a card for. It's so cute and so sweet. And I also love that you can also use them without these kind of wedding accessories so that the critters can be super cute, sending hug cards or thank you cards or anything that you could think of. And I just love seeing all of the mix and match opportunities. And then the critters under the arch is the cutest thing ever. I mean, look at the bunnies under the arch. And you can see how that could be cute for a wedding, but it also could be a really cute spring card too. And when they're under the arch, they look so adorable. I mean, oh my goodness, it is just so sweet. I love it so much. And then here is our Best Wishes line border. It's such a great sentiment for wedding cards, and we're going to be using this on a card coming up. So now it's time to start getting crafty. We're going to start off with some white cardstock, and we're going to die cut that with the largest of the stitch rectangles. So that's going to be 5.5 by 4.25 inches. And then we're going to start creating a cloudy sky with the cloudy stencil. And so we're going to start on the stencil and then move off onto the paper to create our clouds. And I'm using some merman ink here. I'm tapping off the excess and then just lightly brushing onto my cardstock. Then I can move my stencil and I can twist it to one of the other sides and repeat the process. And on the sides of the stencil, there are 4 different shapes of clouds. And so you'll see that I kind of test different ones to see how it's going to look. You can put them at an angle as well, which is really nice to create a really cool cloud shape in the sky. And you can just kind of play around with how things look. We're going to keep building this up and it's just so pretty. Then for some texture, we're going to add some splatters into the sky. So I'm taking the same ink pad, the merman color, and I'm going to smear it onto an acrylic block. I'm going to spray it with just a little bit of plain water. And then I'm just going to take my paintbrush, swirl it all together, pick up some of that paint, and tap my paintbrush to create splatters in the sky. And you'll see that this is going to make this really, really nice texture in the background and just make it feel even more special than it did with the clouds on it. I think it's such a pretty look. Next, we're going to work on some grass for our scene. So I've die cut using the same stitch rectangle, some beautiful green spiffy speckles paper. And then I'm going to pick out one of my grasses and I'm going to pick out a simple grassy hillside because I think like that little mound of grass is going to be really cute with the floral arch. And so I'm going to die cut this piece so that it has the same stitching detail that my sky does. Then to kind of give that same ink blended look we did for the sky, I'm going to take some freshly cut grass ink and just ink over the pattern paper. And it's a really, really quick way to add the ink blended look by starting with the pattern paper first. And you can see how pretty that looks right over the grass. And the little speckles from Spiffy Speckles look really great with the splatters I did on the sky. Then I'm just going to go ahead and add some adhesive behind that and layer that onto the bottom. And you can already start to see the scene form. So here I've taken out some cute images from Happy Couples, and I'm just going to quickly add some white gel pen details. So I'm doing just little round pieces around the flowers, and in those blue flowers I added like 3 little dots just to add the little centers of the flowers. I'm going around the curves of the bunny and the curves of the hat and the veil just to give it a nice kind of cool 3-dimensional look with those white gel pen accents. Then I'm going to be adding some foam squares to the arch and to the bunnies to give them a nice pop on our flat scene that we've created here. And I'm going to add my arch into the middle first, and then I can build the rest of the scene off of that. And look at that wedding arch. Oh my gosh, it's just so pretty. Then we're going to peel up the liner paper on the bunnies and add them underneath. And oh my gosh, I love this just like this. I would make this a happy spring card. That's what I love about this set. It's not until you add the little accessories that it becomes a wedding card. And once you add the top hat and the veil, I mean, oh my goodness, I just can't. It's so cute. I'm going to add the little trio of hearts with some foam squares too to give it a nice pop. And then we're going to add these little bouquets there on the ground to kind of give a nice floral look to the ground as well. And I think that's so super cute. Next, we're going to take out a new stamp set, which is all the speech bubbles. And I love this because it has speech bubbles that are perfect for fitting those tiny little phrases in a lot of lawnfawn stamp set. And Happy Couples has some super cute ones. So you can see I'm just kind of looking through, trying to decide what size speech bubbles I need. And I'm going to use the smallest circle one and then the second smallest circle one because I'm going to be stamping some words in them. And then I'm also going to be stamping the little heart from the stamp set in those little ones too. And so I'm going to be using 2 of each speech bubble, and we're going to stamp the heart and the little tiny speech bubble, and then we're going to stamp the I do and the other speech bubbles. And I just love these speech bubbles so much. I'm using them on so many cards because it's a great way to use those tiny little phrases. So I'm just going to stamp those in there. I'm going to line the inside of the whole speech bubble with a light blue marker to give it a little bit of pop, and the light blue is going to coordinate really nicely with the sky. And then I'm going to add the same red that I did for the trio of hearts into the little hearts in the speech bubble so that everything coordinates really, really nicely. Then we can just die cut those with the coordinating dies, and we'll have the perfect little speech bubbles to add on to our card. Now you'll notice in a little bit that I end up changing the placement of my little heart speech bubbles. Right now I am recreating a gorgeous card by Maureen, but I did a slightly different version. So later on I decide to move them. And that's one thing I like about these little foam squares. When I first put them on, I don't press down too hard so that later on, if I need to move them, I can. But over time they cure and get really solid. So I love that it gives you that little wiggle room. So here I'm just going to prep with an anti-static powder tool onto my guava cardstock, and I'm going to stamp the To the Happy Couple phrase in some clear embossing ink, sprinkle on some white heat embossing powder, and then we'll heat that up with a heat tool to have a nice bright white shiny sentiment. Next, I'm going to pick out a sentiment banner die, and you'll see that this one was a little bit longer than what I wanted for the card. So I'm going to line it up first on the left side with the exact spacing that I want, and then I can hold it in place with some low-tack tape, and we'll run it through the die cut machine. Then all I need to do is take that sentiment banner die and line it up on the right hand side to match the left hand side we already cut. So you'll see I'm just going to line it up, make sure it's nice and centered in the back, make sure it's lined up so that it matches the left hand side, and then I can just hold that in place with some low-tack tape and run it through the die cut machine, and now I have the perfect size banner for my card. Now in this card, Maureen thought of the cutest thing ever, and I wanted to show you that the Simply Celebrate Critters matches the critters in Happy Couples perfectly. So here you can see that we have a row of cats, and we also have our cute little couple of cats. We are a row of dogs and the dogs, the mice and the mice, the birds and the birds, and the bunnies and the bunnies. That means that those row of critters can be the audience for the wedding, and that's what we're going to do here. So I stamped and colored and cut those little bunnies, and they're going to be the audience looking on to the wedding. And I think this idea is just the cutest thing ever, and I love that these two sets coordinate together so nicely. So we're going to put the To the Happy Couple there, and then our little audience members here, they're going to be kind of on top of the banner looking on to this cute wedding scene, and I think this is just so adorable. Now this is the moment where I thought those little speech bubble hearts weren't quite working because I had changed the layout of Maureen's design just a little bit, and so I decided to bring them down to the bottom, and I thought that looked really cute there. Now here I'm going to get a standard size card base that's 5.5 by 4.25. We'll add some tape runner to that, and then we can layer on this card, and this card is all done. I love the wedding scene. I love the floral arch and all the little accessories and the little bunnies looking on. I mean, oh my goodness, this just makes me smile so much. And then here you can see the finished card, and I wanted to show you a comparison to Maureen's card. So she added a congrats on top, which I think is so cute, and then she has the 2 veils, which is just so sweet. I love this card so much, and later on we'll show you some other versions that she did with the other critters. They are so cute. Now we're starting off with some Yeti paper. This is a gold foil spiffy or speckles paper that I love and is perfect for a wedding card. And then we're going to take out the radiant heart backdrop, and we're going to be die cutting this beautiful paper, and look how gorgeous this is. Oh my goodness. Now we're going to take this piece and we're going to layer it just onto a white card base that's going to be 5.5 by 4.25. And so I'm just going to put some liquid glue on the back with my glue tube. I'm just going to kind of go in between all of those little rays there, and then we can layer it on. And I really like the mixture of the kind of tone on tone, especially for a wedding card. And right now we are recreating a card by Elena. So thank you so much, Elena. Now we're going to take out one of my favorite dies. This die came out last year and it's so fun. It's called the Secret Garden Window, and it's like this floral window that's so pretty. And we're going to be creating a little frame with it by layering the two dies that come together. So we're going to layer the plain arch and also the flower arch that come in the Secret Garden Window. And then we're going to hold those both together with some low tack tape just like that. And instead of cutting a window into the card, we're actually going to be creating a frame, which is a really cool way to use this die. And so this floral frame is going to become the scene for our wedding. Now here we're going to take these two apart, and we're just going to be using the plain frame to die cut a piece to go behind. And we're going to be using some rainbow ever after paper, and there are these beautiful gradients. It's going to be such a gorgeous scene for the wedding. And so I was kind of playing around with how it might look here, and we're going to actually flip that paper upside down and die cut it with the arch this way so that it's kind of green towards the top and pink towards the bottom. And you'll see by cutting it with that arched window, it's now going to fit perfectly behind our floral frame that we created. Now here is a little piece of green spiffy speckles paper, and we're going to be die cutting that with a grassy border, and we're going to be layering that behind our frame. So we're just going to die cut that down, and then I wasn't sure the exact height I wanted, so I kind of played around with it, layered it behind, and once I had a look that I liked, I'm just going to take a pencil and make some little pencil marks, and then I can just trim it off. And so for pieces like this, I always make them bigger than what I need, and then I just trim off the excess once I have it kind of at that perfect height. Now we can flip over this little beautiful floral frame that we created and add some tape runner to the bottom and then layer that grass behind. Then to give it a nice pop, we're going to be adding a bunch of foam tape all around this arch. And I really love using these foam strips because I can curve them right around that arch, and you'll see it fits perfectly in that frame. And then we can just peel up the liner paper and layer it on top of the pattern paper. And isn't that gorgeous? It just feels like the most perfect spring wedding scene already. Next, I'm going to add some tape runner to this floral arch, and then we're going to layer that behind there so that it's kind of in the background of our scene. And there's something about those die cut flowers and then the stamped flowers together that to me is just so pretty. And then you can see how cute our little cat couple are going to look in this scene. Now, I also wanted to create a cute little sign, and this new Carrot About You stamp set has an adorable little sign, and it fits the little sentiments that are inside the Carrot About You, but it also fits sentiments in other sets. So we stamped out the We Do that is in the Awesome Happy Couples set, and I love that that's another way to use these little phrases is by combining a set in an unexpected way. And this little sign is so cute. It just reminds me of one of those like rustic Pinterest wedding kind of things, right? So we're going to have the We Do right there. Then we're going to take the little bouquet and we're going to layer the bouquet there down in the corner. And I think that looks so pretty. And I love that it brings the stamped flowers towards the bottom of the card too. Then we can layer in that trio of hearts. And this is looking so cute already. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in the little veil and the top hat. I went back and forth because I kind of liked it without the veil and the top hat, but it looks really cute with the veil and the top hat too. So either one of those would be beautiful. We're going to add some tape runner behind that arch and then layer it onto that radiant heart backdrop so that it looks like those rays are coming out from the wedding scene. Now here we have some double-sided adhesive sheets, and we're going to layer that onto the back of this gold metallic cardstock. And this is effectively going to create a sticker that we can die cut. Then we're going to die cut that Best Wishes line border. And now all you need to do is just peel off the backing. And now we have a Best Wishes sticker essentially. So I love those double-sided adhesive sheets for things like these delicate die cuts. We're going to layer on the dot for the eye, and then we could just trim off any of the excess. And I think the Best Wishes line border in the gold metallic makes it look so gorgeous and elegant. And now you can see how pretty this card is. Look at all of that sparkle and shine. I think that's just perfect for a wedding card. Now here is our Henry's Build a Sentiment set. It has all of these phrases where you can build hundreds of different sentiments with it. And so I found some really cute ones for a wedding, and I'm layering them up. So I have wishing you a, and then we're going to stamp happily ever after underneath that. And once I have them lined up, I'm going to ink them up with some black licorice ink, and then I'm going to stamp that on the inside of the card there. And I've been trying to decorate the insides of my cards more, and this Build a Sentiment set is so perfect for that because the wishing you a happily ever after goes so sweet with the best wishes and the whole scene in the middle. I mean, look at that. Oh my gosh, I keep moving it around in the light because it's so pretty with the gold splatters and the gold sentiment. And I love the gorgeous pattern paper behind those cute little cats. I mean, oh my goodness, it is so much fun. And now Shari is going to show us how to use this set in a non-wedding way. So take it away, Shari.
So I'm creating a foursquare card today, and I am going to use all of the couples in the Happy Couple stamp set. I've already colored them all. This is my cute little scout here, and I've cut them out with the coordinating dies, and I'll just set those aside. But I'm also pulling out the All the Speech Bubbles stamp set, and I'm adding a few little speech bubbles. I'm stamping these in some River Rock ink, so a gray ink, and then I'll be stamping the little sentiments that I want to use inside them. I love that this stamp set has a bunch of speech bubbles to choose from and also lots of little sentiments that will work for lots of different cards. So I'm stamping Hello Friend in that round one and then Hugs to You in that smaller one. I've also cut those out with the coordinating dies, and I will just set these in here with my little images to be ready for my card assembly. For the foursquare die cut portion of my card, I am going to use some of the new Rainbow Ever After paper, and I thought it would be fun to make a white frame with these little dots, so to kind of use our white in a different way. Then I'll be using this ombre piece to create the backgrounds in my little frames. So I've die cut that foursquare portrait backdrop from that dot paper, and then I'm just figuring out which way I want to turn this ombre paper to get the most colors. And I decided that this direction was the best, so I get the pink at the top all the way down to that kind of bluish green at the bottom. And I'll just take this sheet and trim it down to 4¼ by 5½ so it fits behind my die cut panel. And then I can go ahead and put this onto a card base. Actually, first I did decide to cut 2 of the squares from some green spiffy speckles paper. This will be my little grass for my couples to sit on. So now I can put that ombre piece onto the card base, making sure the pink is at the top. Then I will add a little bit of liquid glue to my frame that I cut. And then I can just layer this over that beautiful ombre paper and get all those colors inside those frames. Now to move back to that green that I cut earlier, I cut 2 of those little squares, and I'm just going to cut each of the bottom of these at 1/4 inch, creating this little bitty piece of ground for my little couples to stand on. And the reason I only cut 2 is because I can flip that square around and cut the top and the bottom and get a little piece of grass out of both of them. Then I'm just adding a line of liquid glue along the bottom of each of those squares, and since this was cut with that same foursquare die, the little strips of grass will pop right down into those openings. And you get this really fun stitching detail along the bottom as well. But I like that they're cut perfectly to fit right in there. For my sentiment, I'm pulling out the Long Distance Hugs stamp set. I love using this stamp set for sentiments because I love that big scripty word hugs and its coordinating die. I'm starting by stamping the word sending on a piece of ballet slipper cardstock, which I will be cutting out with the sentiment banner that you see there. And then I am stamping the scripty word hugs onto a piece of mermaid cardstock. This scripty hugs has a coordinating die, so I think it's really fun to layer this on top of a sentiment banner in a different color. So I'll line up that coordinating die and just hold it in place with a little bit of removable tape. And now I have a really pretty hug sentiment to add to the word sending. For the sentiment banner die cut, I am going to put that word sending towards the left, and I will just cut this out first, and I'm going to shorten it up. So I've put my hugs there to see where that kind of lands. I want it to be shorter than the width of my card, so I'll just kind of snap this back into place. You can feel when it's lined back up with the top and the bottom, and I'll just trim off that little tail so I have a shorter banner. So now that sending hugs sentiment is going to fit perfectly on the bottom of my 4 square backdrop die cut. I'll just add some liquid glue to the back of that scripty hugs. I am avoiding the top of the H there because it is going to overhang the banner and not get glued down to anything. And then I can add some foam squares to the back of the banner so that this is popped up off the card, and I will just align this in that big white space at the bottom. Now to add my little happy couples, I've just placed them in the squares where I want them to go. And then I'm adding some foam squares to each of them so they will have some dimension off of that background as well. So I have my cute little dogs and my little mice. I did try to separate the mice and the bunnies in opposite corners because they have some grays that are very similar. And of course, I did use some different colors for my dogs and cats as well, trying to get as many different colored animals on this card front as I could. Now I'm putting those little speech bubbles I stamped earlier, so I have the little hello friend, as well as the hugs to you, and I thought it was just cute to add these to a couple of these little scenes. I did take the opportunity to add more color with my little birds, coloring them in some blues and teals, and I'll just tuck those behind the banner like they're sitting on that scripty hugs at the bottom. I'm also pulling out Henry's Build a Sentiment stamp set. This stamp set has lots of words and is a great way to build a custom sentiment, especially for the inside of your cards. So since the front of my card says sending hugs, I decided to continue that sentiment on to the inside and spell out the sentiment and happy thoughts your way. So sending hugs and happy thoughts your way. I've just lined those stamps up against each other because they're all on a rectangular base, and I'm stamping them on the inside with some black licorice ink. So here is my finished card with all those cute little couples in their little frames, sending hugs and happy thoughts your way. I'm creating a mini slimline card using that beautiful flower arch from Happy Couples, as well as the puppy couple and the kitten couple. For the sentiment, I'm pulling out the All My Heart stamp set. I like that you can die cut that word heart, and that sentiment will fit inside the arch. For the background, I'll be using some spiffy speckles paper and some green watercolor wishes for the grass. Scout got a hold of my paper, which is kind of funny, but that's okay. We're going to trim this down with some dies. So I've cut that entire mini slimline panel. This is the largest, so it's 3 inches tall by 6 inches wide. And then I'm using that same stitch rectangle to cut that green watercolor wishes paper. And then I can lay my arch on here, and I'm going to figure out how far up I need to cut this. This is clearly much taller grass or ground than I need, but about a ½ inch is all I need to give that arch room to fit on the card nicely and still sit in the grass. So I've just got my paper trimmer, and I will line this up and trim it down to where that bottom part of that rectangle is ½ inch tall. So just this little strip of grass along the bottom. I'll go ahead and add this to my blue Spiffy Speckles panel. Then I will go ahead and add this whole panel to my card base. So I have my slimline card ready to go. Now I want to stamp my sentiment before I stick down my images. So I'm putting this in my MISTI. I've just placed that arch there for placement. I've already stamped and die cut out the word heart from the All My Heart stamp set, but I need to pull out the other stamps. Now the rest of the stamp that says I love you with all my is one long stamp that I trimmed in half so that I could stack them one on top of the other. And look how nicely they fit inside this arch. Then I can move my word heart up there because I will be adding this with some foam adhesive. And once I have it all fitting in that arch nicely, I can pick it up with the door of my MISTI, remove my stamped images out of the way, and then stamp this directly onto that pattern paper that is the background. Now I'm ready to start adding my images, and these thin foam strips are perfect for this arch if you want to pop it up with some foam because they fit behind the sides of the arch perfectly. So I've put those thin foam strips on there as well as some foam squares at the top, and then I will frame up my sentiment with this beautiful flower arch that I colored. I'm using another thin foam strip left over from the arch to put behind the word heart and pop that right in there as well. And I like how that is kind of outlined in white and pops up off the page. Of course, I want some dimension with my stamped images, so I'm adding some foam squares to the back of the kittens as well as the dogs, and I'll add one to each side of the arch. Now I'm adding some little trios of hearts that I've colored and die cut with the coordinating dies. One of these is from the Happy Couples stamp set. The other is from All My Heart, and I liked that I had some options so that I could have these little hearts above both of the couples, but then be a little different. Finally, I'm adding some shimmer to the hearts, and I will add some glitter accents to the flowers and the leaves in the arch as well, just adding a few dots here and there. I'm also going to add some to the bottom where those leaves are, and here is my finished slimline card. It's pretty sweet and simple, but I think it turned out just so cute.
I love this card so much, Shari. I love the sentiment inside of the floral arch, and it's a great way to use the arch in a non-wedding card. And then the sending hugs card is so sweet, and I just love all the little couples in all of the squares. And I also wanted to show a different version of this card that Shari created. So you could use pattern paper, you could use colored cardstock. These turn out so cute and so fun. And next up, we have some incredible cards by the design team, and this one by Callie is so sweet. I love the gold bed wishes and her adorable scene. This card by Grace blew me away. She has a slimline card with 3 different scenes: the engagement, the wedding, and then going off to the honeymoon. I love the little critters in the car. I mean, this idea is just so cute and sweet, and I love the colors that she used. I was blown away when Tammy created this cute little cake out of die cuts, and she has her puppy dogs on top. Oh my gosh, it is so cute and sweet. And then here is that trio of cards that I mentioned by Maureen. She used all the different critters with all the different audience members in such a cute way. I love her mix of colors that she used and how she was able to customize the cards for everyone that she might send them to. The little hats, the top hats and the bow ties. Oh my goodness. The veil and the top hat. I just love it. I love the little top hat with the tie on the bird. And then of course we had the card that we looked at earlier with the 2 bunnies with the 2 little veils. I just love this so much. I think these are just so cute and so sweet. This platform pop-up card by Tammy is adorable, and I love that the little mice are the bridesmaids for this wedding. Oh my goodness, is that not adorable? This card by Lynette is so sweet. I love her combo of pattern papers and the beautiful colors that she used for the arch. It feels so springy. And then this is the card by Elena that inspired us to make ours today. It is so cute. I love how Audrey used a bright pink on her card, and she has the little speech bubble that says, "I love Mew." It's a cute way to use this set with not a wedding design. And then this card here by Elise is so fun. I love the yellow and the green together and the little bunnies standing there as bridesmaids. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. Mindy's tropical wedding is so stunning. I love how she stenciled the sunset scene and she has the little guys there without the arch. It's just beautiful. And then this card by Shari is so much fun. I love her string of hearts at the very top. It's adorable. Oh my goodness. This card by Megan is so pretty. I love her gorgeous inking and how she has the fun butterflies and bouquets up at the top. And then here, Letitia used our new flower garden backdrop to create the perfect backdrop for this adorable little kitty wedding scene. So we cannot wait to see your happy couples cards, so make sure to share them with us. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!